What's up, good people? It's your Fine Fantasy homie Jay. If you haven't hanging out with me in the Discord or the live stream, you know that I've been messing with Red Mage outside of Monk during, when we're not doing Savage Raid. I love Red Mage. I think the quality of life changes that they did to Red Mage and Endwalker has made it such a smooth job. Like taking it from the 80 stack melee rotation to a 50 stack white and black mage rotation just made everything great. So today I wanted to share the opener for level 90 and how the rotation works in Savage Raids and any high tier stuff like that. I wanted to wait until I knew what I was doing before I dropped this video. I know I talked about it a while back that I was gonna drop a Red Mage guide, but I wanted to make sure like I knew what I was talking about, so I wouldn't be doing y'all. So I make sure I do y'all justice. The hardest thing, just to note, the hardest thing about Red Mage is going to be able to double weave. If you're not used to double weaving, that will be a challenge because there's a lot of it that's happening in the opener. For instance, if you don't know what double weave is, that is hitting 2 OGCDs off global cooldowns while your global cooldown is on cooldown. So that way you do not have to stop casting abilities, but you're also able to get all the abilities necessary to get the max damage in your opener. If y'all know my videos, I like to break it down like step by step and then show you the entire rotation as a whole. So that way you also can understand why we're doing things and then learn the rotation itself. I feel like it's much easier than that. I feel like easier that way than just throwing the rotation on the screen and saying good luck. So how we're gonna start off opener is that if a tank loves you, which they should always do a countdown timer, especially for like the in-game content. I know not so much in dungeons and stuff, so it's harder to do this opener in dungeons because most time you're just going through things and killing things as they come. But for I'm gonna move my mic up just a little bit. But for in-game content, there should always be a countdown timer. Around 5 seconds left in the countdown timer, you're gonna want to start hard casting Vera Thunder. So that way, as soon as the fight starts, you're ready to go into your rotation. So like for instance, say the boss does a 10-second countdown timer, right? Around 5 seconds. So we're just gonna, around 5 seconds, we're gonna start hard casting Vera Thunder. So that way when the fight starts, our ability comes out right on time, right? And we're able to just continue the rotation. So after you hard cast a Vera Thunder, you wanna throw a Vera Aura out. And then you're instantly going to have to double weave a swift cast and acceleration while you're waiting for your next Vera Thunder to come off cooldown. So what that means is the reason we're doing that is because then we'll be able to hard cast we'll be able to cast a Vera Thunder free from the swift cast without it costing us anything. We'll be able to double cast and accelerate. We'll be able to also do another free cast with acceleration. So essentially how it's going to look is we're going to do a hard cast Vera Thunder, instantly use our dual cast to throw out a Vera Aura, double weave swift cast into acceleration, and do 2 Vera Thunders back to back. Why are we doing 2 Vera Thunders back to back? The reason we're doing that is because it will make the black magic higher than the white magic. So if you've played Red Mage, after your melee rotation, you get a bonus if your magic is not the exact same number and is off level. This guarantees that it will be off level. So that way, when we finish our melee rotation, we're able to do a Vera Holy and get 100% proc for the next Vera Stone. 100% proc for the next Vera Stone. And that's why we're double casting Vera Thunder before we go into our melee rotation. Or if you want to double cast Vera Aura, you can do that too. So your opener could be Vera Thunder into a Vera Aura, Swift Cast, Acceleration into a Vera Aura, Vera Aura. And that means that after your melee rotation, you're going to use a Vera Flare to get your 100% proc on your next Vera Fire. So how this opener, and while we're doing that, we're also going to, well, let me continue to break it down. So right now our opener is looking like this. We're hard casting Vera Thunder. Right when the countdown comes off, we're going to a Vera Aura. We're going to double cast into a Vera Thunder. And then now we're going to do a Embolden and Magnification double weave. I accidentally hit lucid dreaming. Don't do that because it clipped. So don't do what Jay does. So after we do a double Vera Thunder, we're gonna want to double weave an Embolden into a magnification, because then we will give our party their buffs, and everybody's party buff should be coming around the same time. Everybody usually does their party buff around the 4th or 5th GCD. And that will be the 4th GCD for us. So around the 4th GCD, so after we do double Vera Thunder, we hit Embolden and Magnification, and now we're ready to go to our strongest burst phase, because we want to get this melee out immediately, as fast as we can, but also wait until everybody is ready to do their buff their buff stack, because every party's raid team-wide buff is set to 2 minutes now. They changed that in Endwalker, so that's why we're doing it that way. So that way our buff timers will line up with everybody else's. So after we do Embolden into Magnification, we're gonna go into our first enchanted melee. We're gonna weave a Contra in. We're gonna go to our second enchanted melee. We're gonna weave our Flecha in. Then we're gonna go to our third enchanted melee. We're going to have so let me start there. So this is how so we should end with the double. We should end with the double enchanted melee. So let's break down that part of the combo so far. So we're hard casting Vera Thunder, right? We hard cast Vera Thunder. We're going to dual cast Vera Aura. We're going to double weave into a Vera. We're going to be moving up. We're going to do this. So switch here. So this is where we are in our opener. This is how far we've gotten so far in the opener. Is that how it should look? So we hard cast Vera Thunder into a Vera Aura dual cast. We have to double weave a swift cast into acceleration, and then we're going to do a Vera Thunder, a Vera Thunder. We're going to have to double weave an Embolden into a Magnification, and then we're going into our melee rotation. We do our first enchanted into a Contra, second enchanted into a Flecha, third enchanted, and that's how far we made it so far. Because I want to make sure I break this down step by step. So after we finish our third enchanted melee, we're going to have to double weave a corpse and an engagement into a Vera Holy. Because what we want to do is use all of our damage in our burst phase while we have it. And this is just our opener. So once you finish your opener, everything should be on cooldown. So we're going to do our last enchanted into a double weave corpse engagement into a Vera Holy. We're going to double weave corpse and engagement one more time into what I can't remember what it is. So I'm going to have to pull it up. It should be into a Scorch, right? Do I have that right? Right? Yes, it will be into a Scorch. So it will be a last melee into a double weave corpse engagement into a Vera Holy. And then a double weave corpse engagement into a Scorch. And then we finish it off with Resolution. And that is your opener. That is the Red Mage opener. All right, so let me try to show you how the whole opener works. If long as Jay doesn't butcher this, mess this up, everything should be good. So let's do a countdown timer, like a real tank would. But I don't tank, so I had to find out what a countdown timer works. So at 5 seconds, we're going to hard cast Vera Thunder, and then we're going to go to our complete opener. We're hard casting here. We're going to Vera Aura. We're going to double weave, do all that fun stuff. So with Vera Aura, we're going to double weave into a Vera Thunder, into another Vera Thunder, double weave Embolden into our Magnification, weave. Oh, there we go. Oh, Jay's doing it. Oh, yeah. And that should be your entire opener there. So that is our opener. So what we did was, just to recap what we did, we hard cast Vera Thunder into a Vera Aura. We double weaved a swift cast into acceleration. We did Vera Thunder into another Vera Thunder. We double weaved an Embolden into a Magnification. We did our enchanted melee. So we did our first enchanted. We weaved the Contra, second enchanted, weaved the Flecha, third enchanted. We double weaved a corpse into an engagement, into a Vera Holy. Then we double weaved a corpse and engagement into a Scorch. And then we finished it off with whatever that last ability is called, Resolution, right? Yeah, Resolution. And that is your entire opener. If you do it right, it does what it's supposed to do. But the hardest thing about the opener is that it's possible for clipping. So after we finish our opener for Red Mage, the goal is that we're gonna keep just working on getting procs. If you do not proc, use acceleration. If so from the cooldown of embolden until we get from our opener until we get back to our embolden being off cooldown. The goal is just to get as many melees as we can, and then prepare for our 2-minute burst window. A 2-minute burst window is going to consist of prepping a melee into our burst phase and trying to get our finisher into our burst phase. While you're waiting for the 2-minute burst window, if you're not proccing a Ver Stone or Ver Fire, use Swift Cast. Like if you go to do a Ver Thunder and Ver Fire then proc and you don't have a proc, Swift Cast and try to do the next one, see if it works. If it doesn't work, then throw an acceleration, because then that is also just another Swift Cast that instantly procs one of them. And you want to use these as much as possible when you're not getting procs, because the less that you can use Jolt, the more damage you're gonna do. The goal is to not use Jolt as little as possible and get the most procs off. So let me kind of show you I'll show you the entire 2-minute flow. I'll show you the 2-minute burst window. I'm gonna do the best I can not butcher this. You saw that little jump skip? It's because I forgot to change the manas back to 0. So I had to reset those real quick. But let's do the full 2-minute window where we're gonna do our opener and then prep for our 2-minute burst phase. Our 2-minute burst phase is when Embolden is about 5 seconds from coming off cooldown. If everything works out perfect, we should be able, at 5 seconds left on Embolden, we should be able to start a melee rotation where we end with the enchanted endowment, and then after we do the enchanted dominant, we should be able to weave an embolden into our holy fire, very holy, a very fire flare, a very flare, very flare, yeah, very flare, and do our finisher, because the goal is to be able to put our finisher into our embolden, be able to reactivate magnification, and be able to do our entire melee rotation with our second finisher into this one embolden. That will give you the max damage if you can get that off. But sometimes the procs don't favor you and you're not able to do that. If that's the case, what you want to do is right when embolden is, if you don't have enough melee gauge and embolden's on 5 seconds, right? Embolden's about to come off cooldown. Right when embolden comes off cooldown, activate bolting, weave and magnification in, and then just go into your melee finisher. Sometimes you're going to be able to do the 2 finishers into your bolting. Sometimes you're not. It's all going to be on your procs and you can't control that part. So let's go. You can control it using acceleration and swift cast for an extent, but you can't fully control it. So the goal is to use as little jolts as possible. So let's go into the full rotation. So say the tank is about to do this countdown timer here. We're going to hard cast Vera Thunder, and then we're going to hard cast Vera Thunder into our opener. We're going to slide all the way up to the boss during our cast to make sure that we are able to do a melee rotation. Going to weave here. Going to our Contra, our Fleche. Double weave those 2. Weave here. A Scorch. And so now we're at the end of our opener. So now we're playing the proc game. So hopefully we can hopefully we some good procs, and we just keep playing around our procs right now. Use your fire to keep procking. Try to keep procking. All right, we still have 1 proc here, so we're gonna use that. We got a proc, so we're just gonna keep vibing here until we wait until we didn't get a proc. So I'm gonna use acceleration to fish for a proc. We'll just keep an eye on Embolden. Embolden still is at 80 seconds. We can go into our melee phase here. We can use this one. Use your cooldowns. Use Fleche and Contra on cooldown. Embolden is at 68 seconds, so we're still just playing the proc game. I didn't get a proc there, so I'm going to use acceleration to fish for one. We're trying to use Jolt as little as possible. I didn't get a proc there, so I'm going to use Swift Cast. I still didn't get a proc, so I'll have to use Jolt here. Use Fleche off cooldown. I still did not get a proc, so we're gonna have to use Jolt again because I don't have any way to fish for one. We're using Jolt again. We're gonna use our melee here. We got 38 seconds on Embolden. So we're just getting ready for that phase. I may not have a melee rotation to do the max amount because unfortunately we just didn't get enough procs. So we're just gonna keep trying to play around what we can. I don't have anything, so we're just gonna use Jolt here. I don't have anything, so we're gonna use Jolt again. Gonna use Deceleration to fish for a proc. Embolden's at 12 seconds. I'm not gonna have a melee for this. Not gonna have a melee to go into it. So once it comes off cooldown, we're going to activate Embolden into a magnification. Go into our melee phase. Use your cooldowns when you can. Use your OGCDs when you can. So then that's your entire 2-minute window, and then you would just rinse and repeat. So, right, we can essentially just go back into another melee because we have it. Unfortunately, it doesn't fall into the Embolden window. And then we would just keep playing the fishing game for our procs. We would keep trying to fish until we get back to our 2-minute window. In the perfect world, unfortunately, because I didn't get enough procs, I wasn't able to do the double finisher in one Embolden. I was only able to do one finisher in an Embolden. But if my proc game had blessed me, I would have at 5 seconds, I would have went into an enchanted. I would have went to an enchanted, into my second enchanted, into my third enchanted, activated Embolden, and then did my finisher. Finished my finisher of Holy of Ver Flare, did Scorch, did Resolution, immediately weave the magnification, go back into my finisher one more time and finish it out. And that way you can get 2 finishers in one Embolden. The procs didn't work in my favor, so I couldn't get to do that. But that is what you're going to do the entire fight. Is you're fishing for procs, you're using acceleration to activate a proc. You're going to use Swift Cast to try to get a proc if you don't have acceleration. And the goal is just to use Jolt as low as possible, get as many melee rotations out, and to set up for your next Embolden window. And that is pretty much what you're going to do throughout the entire fight. I think Red Mage is super fun. Red Mage is more active than I think people give it. Also, Red Mage can be frustrating if the proc game isn't blessing you like it was in this example. As always, if you want to follow me, ask more questions, hit me up in the chat. I love not the chat, but I say chat because I stream. Hit me up in the comments if you have any questions or if you have anything you want to add to it. This rotation is really solid. It's really fun. And I will see y'all in the next video.